Hello everybody and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick, and today we're going to be checking out Cube Conquest 3D by developer ShadeForm Entertainment. Honestly, we should probably take it down a few pegs to a more relaxed state of affairs because this is a very nice and enjoyable and simple and accessible puzzle game based around the powers of two. And I know that sounds like it might be a little complex, but trust me, I'm not a very mathematically inclined person, so that somewhat daunting description actually has very little to no bearing on the actual game. So this is a game where we're essentially going to be sliding some blocks around, trying to combine like numbers into larger numbers, and we are sort of constrained by the size of the board that we're playing on, and have to do our best to work with the space that we have. It's a little bit like a sliding puzzle, essentially, with some numbers included, and the numbers are not Sudoku style, so, well, you'll see in a second. It's a very simple game, and I got very addicted to it. I just wanted to show you the options here before we start up. There's sound, there's music, there's some credits, and we are going to start up a normal game. I already have a save game, and let's start another one, and I will go over what exactly we're going to be doing here. So, looks like we are presented with 2 blocks to start. I'm not sure if it's always been 2 blocks. Sometimes it might not be. It also might have a bearing on what difficulty you play on, but so far I've only played on normal. And what we're going to be doing is using our arrow keys to slide all the blocks around, and every block that's in play at the moment will slide up to the surface that I hit the direction of. So there's up, they're going to all go up, hit left, they're all going to go left, and whatever spaces there are won't matter. But, so we've got 2 like numbers here. We've got a 2 and a 2 next to each other. I'm going to hit up, those are going to combine into a 4, I'm going to hit up again, those combine into an 8, and so on and so forth. And I believe we want to get, is it 2048? I think it's 2048. As 1 block in total, and it's a slow and steady process, and one that has led me to actually spend quite a few minutes already trying to work toward, because as you can see, each time I make a combination, another block falls into the playfield, and sometimes they don't actually make a lot of sense where they fall. There might actually be rather a bit of a conflict or, you know, an impediment. So we're just going to continue to try and stack like colors or like numbers, whatever you want. I guess you could kind of just look at them as colors as well if you really prefer. And there's also even shapes on the side, so, you know, if you have issues with color blindness, I guess there's something for everyone to identify with. I guess since there's numbers, though, I'm not entirely sure why we need to have symbols as well, because, you know, you can see the numbers if you can see the symbols, I would think, but I don't know. Maybe there's another reason that I'm not quite grokking with here, or grokking. So let's continue to make some numbers bigger, and we'll see how high we can get on this particular run. So I chose this one primarily because, well, as I often do, I just wanted to show you something that I was particularly enjoying on my own time. And in general, I don't cover a lot of puzzle-style games, and definitely not a lot of games with a premise like this, because honestly, it's not high art. It's certainly not something that generally would mesh with a lot of the other things that I cover on the channel, but this is one that just I found very addicting and enjoyable, and I figured, hey, if you guys get 10 or 15 minutes or more out of this one, my job will have been accomplished. So I have a feeling anybody that sees this and is already kind of judging this as maybe looks boring or anything like that, just give it a try. I mean, it's totally free. You can play this right in your browser. There's also an Android version of it too, so if you have any reservations and you have a phone that's capable of using that type of thing, you can just jump right in and play it on the go as well. Seems like a good game to kill some time with, at least that would be my guess anyway. I wish there was an iOS version, but I don't think so. So you can see we're getting into the higher numbers, and this is where the strategy starts to come into play, because as you get these higher numbers, they're essentially just going to be off limits. Like, these numbers are not going to be easily combined, and we're going to be doing our best to try and keep them out of the way, while also trying to mitigate their numbers, because obviously we're going to have a lot of 128s here, so I want to kind of get that in its own corner if possible. I also didn't mention there's a rewind feature. You can see in the bottom left corner, you get 3 rewinds per play. And as our score climbs higher, the instances of us running out of moves are becoming more and more likely. So as we approach that, that's what the rewinds are for. If we end up getting ourselves into a corner where we can't do anything and we run out of moves, well, we can go back 1 and try and correct whatever that last error was that we made. And you would hope that if you do actually have to use one of those rewinds, that perhaps there was at least one alternate move that you could have made. And, well, I guess by virtue of the fact that if you have one open tile, you can always either move it left or right, couldn't you? Or up or down, I guess. There's always an alternate to the direction that's free, I think. Pretty sure that makes sense. I don't know. You guys will proofread me on that one or check me on that one. So we're actually doing okay. This is an average run so far. We haven't gotten too crazy. I think my best score was up near 5,000 something, and that one took a good few minutes to build. And now I'm starting to make some sloppy moves here, because you got to think a little bit ahead where you're trying to position multiple blocks at the same time, because that's kind of the name of the game, is you want to grab 2 blocks or more at a time, if you can, to free up one more space, because each time there's going to be one more block falling in, so you've got to counteract that in whatever ways that you can. And right now, okay, well, we'll do that, I guess. You can at least hit 2 of them at once. I was a little worried about doing an episode of this, considering I have a bit of a tumultuous past with puzzle games on this series. It's been done a lot of times where essentially people just, you know, facepalm or cringe or whatever internet word you want to use to describe my gameplay, and that's okay if that's what happens, but I prefer not to if possible. We've got such a lovely color palette right now of various numbers going on. I don't know if there's anything particularly that drew me to this, because like I said, it's not the most original feature set in a game that I've ever seen. I've certainly played a number of different kind of sliding puzzle block games like this, but I've never quite played one exactly like this. And I don't know if it's just because there's cubes, or if it's because it's these numbers that I resonate with, because honestly, these numbers I actually do have a bit of a history with. And like I said, I'm not a very mathematically inclined person, but it was primarily because when I was younger, I did a lot of work doing mod stuff, and I actually had a lot of experience making like Doom maps, marathon maps, textures, and things like that, and all of that tended to resonate off these same sets of numbers. It was always, you know, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 1024, so on and so forth, and all of those numbers just kind of kept coming back to me. So, I mean, if anything, this is like the one group of numbers that I actually have something to associate with in my life, which is kind of a funny thing, because I don't say that very often. I guess it must be a very different world if you're someone who really lives and breathes math, and you think about numbers in different ways like that. And for me, it's always been more of a visual thing. And I have tons of respect for people that are really able to get in and really deal with the nitty-gritty of math, but it's never been my style for whatever reason. Even through high school, I had a lot of trouble with that kind of thing, but I did make what I need to make out of life, and then, you know, I managed to pass some college math classes, so that was good. Anyway, it's not all about me, it's about the cubes, right? So we're in a bit of a pickle right now, and we've got 2 16s and 2 64s that are crossed in a way that I can't quite reconcile, and there's also a 256 in the corner. I mean, I can do this, but is that gonna free me up in the long term? I'm not sure. Maybe, maybe not. Because now we're dealing with 1 block per turn, and that's always a bad thing. Oh, okay, this actually might work out still. I made some pretty crazy recoveries on the really good run that I had, so I'm hoping maybe I could demonstrate something like that again. Although, odds say probably not. Let's see. Got a 2, a 2, a 16, and 32. Let's move all of them over. One will get this set of 32s into a 64. Cross this back over. Should say the music is very nice as well. It definitely lends well to being the kind of game that you could just zone out and play for quite a while, and now we're getting into trouble territory. I still have all my rewinds, but we're down to just like 1 block per turn and 1 space being open, and all I have now is an up. Yeah, out of moves, so we're going to use a rewind. It's been very, very, very hot where I live lately. Oh, did I answer my own question there? I think that might be the... Oh, I can move the same one down, obviously. And I think that's going to be game. But yeah, this is the kind of game that, like, is really good if you're not feeling like really thinking super hard about something. And if you want to kind of idly play it, you can play it without thinking, you know, very deep into the whole scenario. You can just kind of move stuff around and see what happens. So yeah, and that question I posed earlier... Well, unless I got a better block that fell down, it looks like things were doomed from the start. But anyway, Cube Conquest 3D, surprisingly fun, surprisingly accessible. And why don't we just see what Expert does, actually? I'm going to guess it might... Oh, it adds impediments. I was not expecting that. And it looks like the number we have to reach up to goes higher. So now we're going to 4,096. I do wish, though, for the PC version of this that it actually had, you know, like a widescreen aspect ratio, because that is maybe a little bit off-putting, just since it's such a, you know, vertical orientation. Moving 2 cubes together, matching numbers. Oh, I already know all this stuff. This is basically just giving me the tutorial again, but yeah, I know what I'm doing. There's just going to be some blocks getting in the way now. And I think you hopefully could follow, you know, a pretty simple tutorial of what I was describing already just in the former run that we did there. But I think we'll actually wrap it up. It's been a rather short episode, but, you know, simple puzzle game, not too much else to say. If you're in the mood for something like this, I recommend definitely give it a try. You don't have anything to lose, but a few minutes, I think you'd probably get an idea whether or not you could like it from the video, but still, even if you thought you maybe didn't, just give it 1 minute or something, just to see if the sliding kind of, you know, feels right to you, and maybe it will. So anyway, link's going to be in the description. Go check it out, give it a try. Let me know what you think in the comments, and of course, come back tomorrow. New episodes of Indie Impressions go up every single day, so I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, consider leaving a like on it, and I will see you back for another one tomorrow. So everybody, have a lovely night, and I'll talk to you later.